So after 3 weeks of 2-strand twist, it's finally hair wash and new due day for my big boy. So here's a couple of shots of his 3-week-old hairstyle. So to start, we want to take down each 2-strand twist separately. Some of them you got to be a little careful with because they do have a little mat on them or some like knots. So you have to kind of be careful not to rip his hair out and try not to break off any of the hair that isn't shed hair. As you can see, it's really easy to take them down, except like some of the ends are kind of tangled. But once we get all through that, we want to go back through and make sure we have all the hair down. Just check each strand. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start to use... We're going to be using the Glover's Dandruff Control Oil. We're going to put that on his scalp. I actually bought a little dropper to actually drop it in so that I won't have to put it in with my finger so that I can actually get down to the scalp. So once we've done dropping that in, we're going to massage it through his scalp. Make sure to get in every area that they may seem to have like little dandruff spots or a little extra hard dandruff like he does. So we make sure you get it through all of it, even on the sides. Now what we're going to do is go through and detangle his hair strand by strand. Well, 2-strand twist by 2-strand twist. That way you get all the little matted pieces off of the base of his hair and also off of the ends so that you're not like breaking his hair off. What I'm doing there is there's a little fairy knot right in the middle of his hair. And in order not to pull his hair out, I just go through and kind of pull it off. So I'm going to also clean off the ends of his hair, and where there is any lint or trash from his hair being up, we're going to kind of remove that and just go through each strand piece by piece to do that. And once you do not want to comb his hair at this stage, nor with it dry. So once you do that, you just gotta kind of go back through and pick the end so that you can see, if there's anything left on it. Then we're going to actually twist that up into its own section by itself. It's kind of like separating the hair. So because we're actually going to wash it today. So make sure you separate it carefully. So once you have the hair all separated nice and neat, you want to let the Glover sit on for 15 minutes. And after that 15 minutes is up, we'll begin to wash. So after the 15 minutes are up, you want to start to wash his hair. You want to wet it a little bit. And so I also use this shampoo called my L Oats and Honey Soothing Shampoo. But I put it in a bottle with a tip on it so that I can actually get it through every section of his hair on his scalp directly so that I can make sure I clean it and get the dandruff up off of it. So what you start to do next is I will kind of wet his hair again, and then I begin to massage the shampoo into every section of his hair, making sure to pay close attention to his scalp. Make sure I massage through his scalp so that I can get the dandruff up as much as possible. And I begin to do that, and then I resection his hair so that I can actually go back through and wash his scalp off. So I'm washing his scalp now, and I will make sure I go through and continue to massage his scalp as I wash it off so that I get up as much dandruff as possible. What you see me doing is running the hair down the shaft of his hair, and I'm trying to just get that dandruff off of his scalp, get everything clean so that I can go back in and use my other shampoo to actually wash the bottom part of his hair. And the shampoo I use to do that, it is called Mizani's True Texture Shampoo. It has like a little moisture in it and all that stuff. So I use that on the base of his hair, so the long strands of his hair, so that I can get any of the debris or dandruff that came down the shaft off of his hair. So once I'm done washing like that, I retwist it into the 2-strand twist and I go through his scalp. Yeah, his scalp is usually what I focus on first. Then I focus on getting anything else off the ends of your hair, any build-up or anything that we put on your hair while you was going to school every day. All that stuff has to come off your hair too.
And I put a lot of stuff away, that green stuff, that green water stuff.
You know what I'm saying? All that stuff has to come off your hair. So once I'm done washing his hair, I like to wrap it in one of those little bunnet like towels that you kind of can twist up, and has a little button thing in the front to tie it. And once we're done with that, it is now time to go and do a deep condition. And so you kind of want to go section by section with your deep condition. And for my deep condition, I also use the Mielle Oats and Honey Soothing Scalp Conditioner. And we go through just making sure you put that on every section of his hair. And once you do that, you want to detangle his hair with a wide tooth comb. Do not use a small comb unless you have finer hair. He has thicker hair, so we use a wide tooth comb. So we're going to go through section by section and do a detangle with the comb. Any shed hair that's going to come out, it should come out now. And so once we do that, we are going to retwist each strand. And after we retwist each strand, we are going to put on a plastic cap if you have one. If not, sometimes I'll use a Walmart bag, a Piggly Wiggly bag. Just make sure the outside of it is facing out, the side that does not have the ink on it. Because, hey, who wants to buy plastic caps all the time when we all have plastic grocery bags? And once you put the plastic cap on, you are going to want to cover it back in that towel that you took off his head prior, so that you can use the heat from his scalp to kind of do like a heated deep condition. And then I let him up for an hour because he's a boy and, hey, he likes to get on his game for an hour while he conditions his hair. And that's fine by me because it gives me a break. 1 hour later. So after the hour is up, I rinse out his hair, but I do not take the twist out. I just make sure I run the water through the hair good enough to where the water is running clear and that I can't feel any more of the conditioner on his scalp, on his hair or on the base of his hair, and the water is clear. And then you kind of want to make sure you get the water out of it good enough and retie it in that black towel. We're going to use this black towel a lot. It's like a great towel. I can't remember where my husband got it from, but it's like a really, really great towel. So after that, we're going to start to put in his leave-in conditioner. And what I use before I do that is the Mielle Oats and Honey Soothing Leave-In Conditioner. I use the Mizani Rose H2O Hair Dress. And then to seal it all in, I actually use something that my mom used to use on my hair when I was little. It's Blue Magic. Yes, Blue Magic hair and scalp conditioner from Dollar General for like $1.50, and it's like really, really well for his hair. And after you do that, you kind of want to section it and kind of detangle any tangles that's left in there before you blow dry. And because it's winter, that is the only reason I'm actually drying his hair. So to dry his hair, I use this thing called a Rev Air hair dryer that my husband got me for my birthday. And it's like a suction that it pulls your hair into it and dries it. It doesn't have a comb. It's not a lot of heat. You let the hair suction up into it, and it only stays on about 32 to 36 seconds, depending on the thickness of your hair. You want to move it around like that so that it gets the scalp of your hair with the base of your hair so that it actually is dry. So I'm going to show you guys one more time how to get the hair into the Rev Air and how to use it as it dries your hair. It's really good because it does not pull your hair, and it does not, it's not really a lot of heat. So 32 to 36 seconds, and then you pull it out and it's dry. So once it's dry, what I want to do now, because he has not had a trim in a minute, is I want to just take a little bit of hair off each section, just a little bit off each end. And it's just because some of the times the ends will get a little see-through or they'll get a little frail. And even though he does not use heat, I still have to do it. Now I'm just going to mess with him a little bit because he thinks I'm going to whack his hair off anyway. Just a little bit. Not just playing. Okay, so after we've done that, we want to use to grease his scalp, I like to use the Glover's Medicated Ointment for Dandruff, because me and him both have like really dry scalps, and we will get like dandruff buildup if we don't use it. And it's really good. It's been helping for the last maybe year for where we don't get the dandruff as much. But you have to make sure you're washing your hair consistently and using the Glover's Medicated Ointment for Dandruff on a regular basis, and not just like once a month. So we kind of like have to try to put it on like every 2 weeks. That's why I wash our hair maybe every 2 to 3 weeks so that we don't get that buildup as bad. And that's what I use on him and myself. So now it's time to actually start to braid his hair. He finds the braids, I just do them. And it's usually something really nice and intricate. But this time he said he wanted simple because he's out of school for a Thanksgiving break. And he didn't want to be on the floor for a couple of extra hours. So this time we just did something really simple. The next day, to the barber shop for a trim. Mama just put him back in the game, and he knows it. Just wait for it. There it is.